Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Talking Tuesday video. Back in November I had the opportunity to meet the vocalist of the band Cyhra. He's called Jake E and some of you might know him from another band. Well, that being said, he, Jesper Strömblad and some other amazing musicians you might know from this supergroup, and they just have released their new album called No Halos in Hell, also November. And in this video I have spoken to Jake about being in a band, songwriting and many other awesome subjects. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's also an inspiration for upcoming bands to just keep fighting for their dreams, because one day they might become true. Be sure to check out Jake's YouTube channel because he's also doing videos here. And yeah, he's done a great rendition of Let It Go by Frozen, for those who didn't know. But now have fun with the interview. Hey guys, I'm here with Jake from Cyhra.
Hello, hello.
And they are now playing here in the Kolossal of Aschaffenburg. And like I said to Nora, your first time in Aschaffenburg?
I don't really know. I think I've played here before, but not at this venue at least. So it's the first time here. But being a musician for 20 years, sometimes you don't really know where you've been.
That's true. You?
I actually think I've been here before, but not at this specific place.
Yeah. But let's get to you as a musician. You are doing music for 20 years, you said? Almost. Yeah. And the thing is that there's always the experience you have when your heart skips a beat and that you really get triggered to make music. Do you remember this moment in your life?
It's a long story short, but I really actually from the beginning wanted to become a hockey player. And I hurt myself and I could not continue with that, way in life. So I actually thought to myself, asked myself, like, what else can I do that is not a real job? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna become a rock star. So I started to pursue that thing when I was probably 17 or 18 years old, and here I am today. So, but back then, of course, when I got into it, I practiced like 7 hours a day in the rehearsal room, trying my best to sound like Michael Kiske. That was my main inspiration. So I never took any vocal lessons or anything like that, which probably would have made things easier back then. Mm-hmm. But instead, I was just, standing there in the rehearsal room, punishing myself almost. That was that day, 17, 18 years old kid, wanting to become a musician.
Because jobs are boring, like I experienced too.
I started out as an electrician, and I didn't really like that. So I wanted to be the master of my own hours, so to say. So yeah.
Be more like a self-employed person and decide for yourself what life to live.
Yeah.
That's the best thing ever. So you just spoke of one of your idols. Is there any major band that influenced you or your style?
Yeah, when I was young, it was obviously Judas Priest, Halloween, Accept to a point, a lot of Dokken, a lot of those old, like Europe. John Norum was a big inspiration, and so on and so forth. So Iron Maiden came on later on. So most of the most common bands, I must say.
wasn't your first band, but if you remember when you started your very first band, was there the major struggle you guys encountered that made you like furious at each other?
I've been struggling a lot with that throughout different bands, but my first band in my first band, I was the one that was furious because I wanted to become the biggest band in the world, and the rest of the members in my first band, remember we were 17 years old. I had the goal to become the next Iron Maiden. They were happy to just rehearse 2 times a week. And that was frustrating for me. So, then I left that band, started another one, and, almost the same thing happens again, Yeah. But it's always like that. So see with Cyhra, for example, we are all members from various bands that have been playing with other bands before. Now we're all together and we all want the same thing.
This is like the thing that I also can just imagine, because transparency or being transparent about your goals in the band is the most important thing, because you cannot work with people that are just like fine with just rehearsing 2 times a week if you are just wanting to reach something more.
Exactly. But you can't tell other people to think like you either. It's almost a little bit like, you're going through life in your love life. You're having a lot of different partners until you find the one that you feel like connected to, and that you could live the rest of your life with. And the same thing comes with being in a different in a lot of different kind of bands. It takes some time to find the right constellation.
This is like the same, because a band is always like a relationship with other people. I mean, if you're making it and become rock stars, you have to make sure you can live with these dumb guys like 4 weeks in a row, touring in a bus and not throw knives at each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, completely right.
And yeah, speaking of that, Cyhra, it's a completely new band, like I would say, compared to others. You just formed like just a few years back in this constellation. And who was the main person, the main power to get all these people gathered?
It was a coincidence at first, I must say, because first we were discussing to record 2 different solo albums, me and Jesper Strömblad, from In Flames. And we started to write some songs together. And after a while, we realized that, let's skip this. Let's start a band instead. And I said that if we're starting a band, I want to have Alex Landenberg, because he's the greatest person on earth, and he's also a fantastic drummer. And I also said that I have Oige, which is also a fantastic human being. That was important for us, as we were talking about before, get the right set of people together. And Jesper had Peter that he wanted to join on bass, and there we were. We had Cyhra.
And Cyhra is like, I just looked it up. It means something like moon.
Yeah, if you remove the age, I think.
Yes.
What was most important for us was that we needed to find a band name that was, as I used to call it, search engine optimized. In that sense that when you're searching for us on Google, we will be the first thing that comes up. And I think is very important nowadays when, internet is what it is. Everything is going through internet. But also, my daughter's name is Celine, which also means moon. So it was a different combination there. I wanted to do like a homage to my daughter. But then we also added the H in the middle so that it was a standalone name.
And it also has some kind of this specific jingle, if I have to say that, because it keeps in your mind, Cyhra. It's like something completely short, it's sounding well, and I think you've done a great job there.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you very much.
But I didn't know that you were like searching for something that is search engine optimized. This is really interesting.
Yeah, but let's take the word savage, for example. There's a lot of bands that use that,
Sabotage?
Yeah, and there's Seventh Kingdom, Seventh Wonder, Seventh, stuff. All great bands, but they get mixed up in like the search engine. You want to have something that stands out, that you're alone to have. It doesn't matter if you have 2 fans or 100,000 fans, because Google is optimizing it on how many people are searching for your word, if there is many of them.
This is like also a completely great tip for all those who want to start out.
Yeah.
Be sure, be unique, be a special someone. Don't copy others, of course, in music, in your personality, and in your concept. Be original. When you're getting to the process of writing songs, how does this happen in Cyhra?
Usually, I can only speak for myself. I sit down and either I'm on the piano or the guitar, and I make like chord structures, and then I sing some gibberish vocal lines over that. For me, the vocal lines is what's the most essential in a song. I don't focus on lyrics at that point. I only focus on making the melody sound right. And then I always work a little bit backwards and forward at the same time. So I never start like in the beginning and drop off at the end. You can sometimes start with I'm writing chords for a chorus, make the vocal line on that, and see what else I could do that goes great into that chorus. Sometimes it works the other way around, where I do the first and then try to find another chorus. So and then sometimes me and Jesper sits together. He comes with a riff, we start working out on that, or Oige does the same. So and we're sending a lot of things back and forth. So sometimes we're sitting in my studio, sometimes we're just bombarding each other with ideas, and then we're cutting them together. So a lot of different ways of writing songs nowadays in the modern times.
This is completely true, because every other musician I just have talked to said, yeah, there's this one main person who says, hey, you've got a song, you want to add some ideas. And I really like this idea to have different approaches to something, and also the thing that you are just making gibberish vocals just to get the sound of it.
I must say that as some tips and tricks for you out there, don't focus too much on the lyrics in the writing process, because then you're falling in love you fall in love too easily with the words that you have there, and you don't want to change the words, and then all of a sudden the vocal line gets stopped up because of that specific word, and it's better than to change that word to something that means the same thing. So
yes, I get what you mean.
Start with gibberish things to just get the melody, and then add words on top of that later on.
I think this makes also more sense in a musical way, but you guys have to decide for yourselves what is your favorite approach.
Exactly.
And for another question, one of the last ones, is there the major tip you have for upcoming bands or bands that just want to reach something really big? Because it's like more or less a lot of luck included to get like picked out by someone who says, hey, these guys rocks, and it's completely frustrating to get to this point. So is there a major tip you have for the bands?
First of all, make sure that you play with the people that wants the same thing as you, and make that clear from the beginning, because it takes a couple of years from the day you start a band until you get your first record contract, till you get your first tour, and so on and so forth. But also put your goal in your head. Like I've always put my goals to like a point which is probably unreachable. I want to become the next Iron Maiden. Obviously, the chance of me getting to be the new Iron Maiden is pretty small. But if I can come halfway, then I've made it pretty big anyway, right?
Yes.
But if you're just having the goal of like, yeah, next year we're gonna have a show at the local pizzeria, then you maybe not even gonna come to the pizzeria. So you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And also never give up, because like you're gonna hit so many obstacles along your way in the music business. You're gonna be fucked over. You're gonna release a good album that did not get any promotion, and don't just sit down and feel sad about yourself. just do it again. Get up on 10 and do it again.
Just fight for your life in music.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It's not an easy business to succeed in, but if you're just fighting enough and believing in yourself, things will go the way you want.
So if you just look at Cyhra, what's the biggest goal you guys have accomplished?
Yeah, as I've always said throughout my whole career, to have Iron Maiden opening up for us.
That's the goal you have to reach, guys. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
For your time and getting out these tips for you guys. If you're having any other questions, be sure to put it in the comments below. I try to give you some advice if I can. And I hope you have a rocking show tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And bye-bye.
Yeah, at this point, I want to say once again, many thanks to Jake for taking your time. Guys, be sure to check out his YouTube channel. I will put him in the description and here in the end card. And also, thank you to Philip and Markus from Nuclear Blast for making this possible, and also for making or for giving me the time I need to do my videos. I want to say huge thanks to all of my patrons at Patreon who support me there, and special thanks go out to Mike, Michael, Adlan, Andreas, Gerrit, Michael, Jeff, Ryan, Arno, Ivan number 9, Bruno Pierre, Harald, the Sanaya Breakfast Club, and for last time, Jonah. Thank you so much for your amazing support, and I hope to have a new guitar cover ready for you on Friday. Also be sure to tell me if you like these small interviews. I'm off now to a Christmas party. Yeah. Yeah, so just see you on Friday. Stay tuned and rock on.